Hey everyone, welcome to the 7.7 video for Math 6. Today we're talking about solving inequalities using multiplication and division. Alright, so take a second, fill that in, make sure you know what that should be. Play the video when you are done. Alright, so whatever I do to one side of an equation or inequality, I must do to the other side. Okay, we gotta know that, we gotta know that, we gotta know that, we gotta know that. Put that in your brain and never ever forget it. We have to know that to succeed in today's lesson, but also in the previous lessons, in this chapter. So moving forward, it's just to understand that it's understood that we all know this and we're good with that and we're moving on. So here we go. All right, so we're going to use multiplication to solve this inequality, and then we're going to graph our answer. All right, so again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So let's look here and ask ourselves the all-important question of why is the variable not by itself? Well, he is being divided by 3. So what do? We do the opposite of divide, the inverse, and that is multiply. So we're going to multiply by 3 on this side, and those will cancel, and we've got to multiply on this side by 3 as well. And so what happens is we're left with an x there, and we're left with a greater than, and then we have a 21. Okay, so how do I graph that? Well, strike a line in the middle, call it 21. And then remember, it's an open circle, and you do not fill it in because it's just greater than. It's not greater than or equal to. And then greater than means we shade to the right. And there you go. Okay, so what are some answers over here that we can test? Well, what's a number that's greater than 21? How about 25? Actually, let's do something divisible by 3. How about 36? Okay, so if I plug 36 into our original, I should get a true statement. So is 36 divided by 3 greater than 7? Well, 36 divided by 3 is 12, and last time I checked, 12 is greater than 7. All right, so once you pause the video and try this one, play it when you're done. Okay, so again, got to get the variable by itself. He's currently being divided by 5. How do you get rid of division? We multiply. So on this side, multiply by 5 over 1 if we want. Cancels there, and then multiply this side by 5. And 5 times negative 2, what is that? Well, let's see, that's going to be negative 10 is less than p. And remember, though, we don't like the variable on the right. We want to put it on the left. So switch the p and the negative 10. The sign was pointing towards the negative 10, so make sure it's still pointing towards the negative 10. And so now it reads p is greater than negative 10. So mark your negative 10. Open circle, we're not filling it in, and greater than means to the right. Okay, so over here are numbers that are greater than negative 10. So what would be over here? Well, negative 9, negative 8, negative 7. What about 20? 20 is like, going to be way over there, positive 20, if, that's 0 right there. So if I plug in 20, I should get a true statement. Negative 2 is less than 20 over 5, or it should be. Well, let's see, negative 2 is less than, what's 20 over 5? That's 4. Is negative 2 less than 4? Yeah, that works out, so we proved it. All right, so now we're using division to solve, and what you're probably figuring out is this is super similar to solving equations, and you're right. Okay, there's only one exception, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But here, it's all the same. 4 times r, so how do I get rid of times? We divide both sides by 4. Those cancel there, and I get an r greater than or equal to 5. There's my 5, greater than or equal to, so I fill the circle in, and shade to the right. And let's test a number here. What's the number that's greater than 5? 7. Okay, so if I plug a 7 in there, I should get a true statement. 4 times 7 should be greater than or equal to 20. So let's see, what's 4 times 7? That's 28. Is 28 greater than or equal to 20? Yes, it checks out. All right, pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay, so hopefully you realize that now because 2 is being multiplied by p, we need to divide by 2 and divide by 2. And those cancel there. And 144 divided by 2 is 72. Less than or equal to p. And again, we want to make sure the p goes on the left side. And so then 72 is going to have to go on the other side. And the sign was pointing towards the 72, so make sure it's still pointing towards the 72. And there we go, 72. So what are our solutions? Our solutions are all numbers that are greater than or equal to 72. So greater than or equal to, so fill in the circle and shade to the right. And then pick a number to test. What's a number that's greater than or equal to 72? How about 100? right? 100. So if I plug that in to the original, 144 should be less than or equal to 2 times 100. Well, 144 less than or equal to 2 times 100 is 200. Is 144 less than or equal to 200? Yes, it is, so we did it right. All right, so with inequalities, which again is when we're talking about greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, in solving these, there are some very special cases. Okay, so let's talk about them. Negative 3 times x is greater than 24, so let's solve that. So you're probably thinking, well, okay, there's the variable, is being multiplied by a negative 3, so let's divide by negative 3 on both sides. And you would be correct, all right? And so we get x, and then we get a negative 8, and then, okay, so the sign is greater than, so let's bring it down. Well, let's take a number, let's test that, okay? X is greater than negative 8. So what's a number that's greater than negative 8? Let's test 0. So if that's true, then negative 3 times 0 should be greater than 24, right? What is negative 3 times 0? 0. Is 0 greater than 24? No, it's not. So did we do something wrong? No, divide by a negative 8. Yeah, that's right, that's right. So none of our math is wrong. So what do we have to do? Okay, so here's what you do. We're going to have to flip our sign the other direction. Okay, you might be saying, well, why would you do that? Well, the clue is this. Here's how you know when you're going to have to do it. When you divide or multiply by a negative number, so we weren't dividing by 3, we were dividing by negative 3, that is when you flip the sign. And I'll show you why it matters, because now let's pick a number that's less than negative 8, so negative 10. Okay, so now we're going to test negative 10. So negative 3 times negative 10 should be greater than 24. So negative 3 times negative 10, well, a negative times a negative is a positive, right? So we get positive 30. Is 30 greater than 24? All of a sudden, our test answer starts to work. So that would be your solution. Of course, you could graph it, go to negative 8, all numbers that are less than negative 8, so less than to the left. And there you go. Same thing over here, okay? So you're going to have to get rid of the divide by negative 2 by multiplying by negative 2. And again, we're going to make that negative 2 over 1 because those will cancel, and then multiply by negative 2 on this side. All right, so negative 2 times 3.2 is going to be negative 6.4. And, oh, you know what, guys? I put it was supposed to be greater than or equal to. And then on this side, we're just left with a y. But remember, when we multiply or divide by a negative, we need to flip the direction of the sign. So it was greater than or equal to. Now it's going to be less than or equal to. And let's test it to make sure that worked out. So what's a number? Oh, sorry, we need to rearrange. Put our variable on that side, put our number on there. It was eating the y, so make sure it's still eating the y. All right, now let's test. What's a number that is greater than or equal to negative 6.4? Well, I can think of a very easy one, 0. Okay, but we could try something else if we want. You know, we could do 10. Okay, so let's test the number 10. And so 3, we'll always plug back into the original. 3.2 should be greater than or equal to 10 divided by negative 2. Well, 3.2 greater than or equal, what's 10 divided by negative 2? That's a negative 5. So is 3.2 greater than or equal to negative 3.5? And of course, I mean, 3.2 is positive, that's negative, so that's definitely going to work out. So that would be our answer. All right, y'all, and here's one I am going to leave you with for you to finish and then bring to class. You're going to add some fertilizer to your yard because it could use some help, and you got $48 left in your monthly house maintenance budget, and each bag of fertilizer costs $1.59. We're going to write an inequality that would help you solve for the number of bags that you can afford, and then we need to solve that inequality. So have that ready and done for class, and I will talk to you then. See you guys.